Yes, everybody, welcome back to the fixture list. You're not Joe.
I'm not, I'm afraid. I feel like I have to apologise. Apologies for not being Joe. I'm Jay.
Accepted. So Joe's not here because he's a wet wipe.
Yeah, pretty much that's it. No further explanation needed.
Nobody's got the Rona. Well, someone. There's a few. No one here has got the Rona. But Joe's acting like we carry it around in an open jar.
No one here's got it. No one here's been in contact with anyone who has got it.
More importantly.
Just
But Joe's walking around like, I don't know. You seen the opening scene of The Rock?
Yes.
Joe's walking around like it's one of them sort of situations. He's not walking around. He just didn't come in.
He's bunkering down.
Yeah.
He's taking no chances. He's read that he saw that one of us had read about the Rona and was like, that's it. That's enough for me. We watched the programme where someone had the Rona and he's like, no, that's it. I'm not
He's
coming
like,
in.
you coughed last summer.
Yeah,
So,
not doing it.
fuck that noise. So, here we are. Right, we're going to be talking about all sorts. Premier League, the Barclays, which, is it even called the Barclays anymore?
Is it?
I don't know.
That's a good question. We should look into that.
I don't think it is.
No, it's not. I've just been informed.
No, I don't think it is. I think Cadbury's is more what it is. Cadbury's are a sponsor of the Premier League in some capacity.
Cadbury's
Cadbury's
Premier League.
Premier
Sounds nice, doesn't it? Even if you get a bad result, you can sort of stomach it.
Right, so the Barclays returns this weekend, or the Premier League returns this weekend. It's all right, isn't it?
About time. Been, what, a month? 6 weeks?
Do you know what? Being sarcastic and all that aside, I actually was like, yeah, it's been ages. It's not.
No.
It's definitely not.
Time just doesn't have any meaning anymore.
At all.
It's like, what month are we even in? What happened to, like, those months of May to July? It seemed like we went from
April
to August all of a sudden, didn't it? It's been a bit odd.
It was. I woke up. It was March.
Yeah.
All was right with the world. We was getting ming-monged on camera for the
Spurs preview, wasn't it? Was
Tranmere.
You did the Tranmere review where you'd forgotten the score, let alone who'd actually scored the 6 goals. Then my favourite was where you did the Spurs preview after a watch-along. We did the watch-along for the LASK game, where again you struggled to remember who'd scored or realised the score.
Only found out the next day.
Yeah, you found out we'd won 5-0. And then we did the Spurs preview. I think you found out the next day we'd done a Spurs preview, to be honest with you. Right. We told you, yeah, we did that preview last night still, did I? Yeah, you were on it. All right, nice one. But we never put it out at the time because the game got cancelled.
Yeah, so from that moment, here's what feels like happened. I went for a dump this morning.
Yeah.
That's it. There was like that, dump, morning.
Yeah.
And we came in today.
That's sort of what happened with the world.
2020 is going to be hilarious in history books, isn't it? What happened? All sorts and fuck all.
Yeah.
I mean, literally all sorts, but now.
It's like if it was a film, it's like the screenwriter got carried away when he got to 2020 and just tried to pile in as much as he could. Like, come on, mate, that's not realistic. No one's going to buy that, actually.
And,
that's what happened.
if anything, it gets even more realistic because Everton are spending like they're Real Madrid.
James Rodriguez.
Well, James Rodriguez, Ancelotti, Allen. This is all like getting a band back together. I mean, I know Allen's not been at Real Madrid, but like this is like Real Madrid-ish.
It's very sort of 5 years ago, this was the creme de la creme, and now they're at Goodison every week. No disrespect to Everton fans, but come on.
You are my favourite flavour of Scouse.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, don't really like any of you.
Yeah, and did you ever think you'd be saying, oh, let's go and watch James Rodriguez play for us whilst Ancelotti manages us even?
At Everton.
No, you didn't. That's just madness.
So they won't be at Goodison this weekend, but they will be at Spurs New Stadium. Spurs got a new stadium.
Have you been watching that Spurs thing?
Am I someone who likes football, and is that something that's on telly?
A simple
About
yes,
football.
Jay, would have sufficed. But yes, to answer your question.
I have Jay.
It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Very much the Jose Mourinho
Won't be as good
show.
as All or Nothing Stretford Paddock.
Obviously.
Not a patch on, I think the word we're looking
Do you know
for
what? It
is.
is what I'd say this now. You can cut this.
Don't
if you
touch me,
want.
that's illegal.
You can cut that bit where I touched it. But I was watching the Spurs documentary, and when it finished, I watched the Paddock one, and my missus was in the corner doing some work on her printing stuff she does, and she went, it just sounds like one continuous programme of listening to Jose shouting and Howson. It's all part of the same show. It's like,
I wonder how many people did the same thing.
all I can hear is the manager shouting at his players, and it's just gone from a Portuguese voice to Howson's. I was like, yeah. But it is entertaining. Both are entertaining. That's entertaining. What you're doing is entertaining as well. So
in a different sense.
In a different, different levels.
Highly different sense.
But no, going back to the original point, Spurs have got a nice shiny new stadium.
Yeah, didn't mention that. They kept it on the DL. But yeah, we're going to see Everton lining up there this weekend. How do you see that going? 2 former Real Madrid managers now managing Spurs and Everton.
That's like when you had 2 former Champions League winning managers in the Championship, innit, with Di Matteo and Benitez. Stinks of a draw to me. It just does.
What if it's an away win?
I mean, there is the great unknown factor of it's a new season, new signings. Yes, you've got 2 managers who know their stuff. I just feel like these 2 teams are going to cancel each other out a little bit, and I think it might have that feeling of a draw isn't a bad result for either team. Yeah. So it's like a bit like like Mourinho can stomach it, and Ancelotti would be like, "Well, we went to Spurs and we got a point. Happy days." So I don't know. I just feel this might end up with a bit of a 1-1 or something. I don't think that either keeps a clean sheet, but I'm going for a draw.
Obviously, United's game postponed because of exploits, I think you could say, in Europe. Remember that? That was a fucking waste of time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we have got some interesting fixtures this week. Sheffield United Wolves, I think that's going to be an interesting tie. West Brom and Leicester, that won't be an interesting tie. I think you've got Liverpool Leeds, which is probably going to be most people's pick of the day.
God.
I'm sure. Fulham Arsenal, whatever. Palace Southampton, fuck off. And I think you're just looking at Liverpool Leeds. West Ham Newcastle might be a goal fest because they're both wank. But Liverpool Leeds is the one. In terms of favourites and all that caper this season, we have got City are favourites, and I line up on that, to be honest. I do think Liverpool will not be as much of a force. I still think they're there and thereabouts, but not as much as a force. They're 4-5 on City. Liverpool are 15-8, Chelsea 10-1, and Ollie's Tricky Reds are
14.
14-1, yeah.
14-1. I mean, those prices seem relatively reasonable, don't they? I get where you're coming from with City. They have strengthened where they needed to strengthen. All right, they've lost David Silva, but when you look at the other players they've got, I know he was in the team of the year, but I don't think David Silva's the same David Silva he was a few years ago. So it's not like they lost De Bruyne or someone like that. They've lost a legend for them, but on the sort of tail end of his career, so I think they'll survive that. And Liverpool tailed off a little bit, didn't they?
No, a lot.
A lot. It's fair comment. Not just.
And you can mitigate that by going, well, they won the league. And that's all that matters. You get past that post and you can cruise.
Well, hang on a minute. Winning the league doesn't mean you get beat off Atletico Madrid before you've won the league.
Yeah, that's or phoning the FA Cup the way they do.
That, and it doesn't mean that you go to, like, where was it? Or you draw at home with, I can't remember the teams. They dropped a lot of points.
Shrewsbury?
Was it Chelsea that they beat them? They lost a few games.
They tried to throw a game against Arsenal.
That was it. I think that's the one.
They beat them.
And there was the one at home, I forget which one. They drew at home to, I think it was Burnley or someone. I think it was Burnley, actually. I think Nick Pope had a very good game. But that's not because, we've won the league, we're not trying. They obviously were trying, and they wanted at one point to get the records points tally. That didn't happen. Obviously, unbeaten went out the window when they got beat off Watford anyway. But I do think the signs there that, I don't know, maybe they're not being able to keep that momentum. And in many ways for Liverpool, it's like they've had a back-to-back what should be title-winning seasons. Because if you get 98 points, you win the title. They just came up against the City team that got more than that. So,
unlucky.
Unlucky. And then they've gone again.
I cried loads for you.
Yeah, I was beside myself with grief. And then they got 99 points, which is obviously a fantastic tally. Can they go again for the third season and get those sort of points? I don't think they can.
No, I think you're absolutely right. On the top goal scorer markets, Salah is favourite at 5-1. Not buying that. United's highest placed one is Marcus Rashford, and he is 18-1. Marshall behind him at 20-1. Find those.
I think they've got that the wrong way around. If I'm being honest, I love Marcus Rashford more than at least a couple of my kids. But I think that if you take away his penalties, which Bruno is now going to do,
probably, then
it's a stretch for Marcus to get top goal scorer, if I'm being honest. Whereas Martial doesn't take penalties and still bags 20 goals a season.
Mason Greenwood's higher or better odds, lower odds, than Lacazette at 28-1.
And rightly so. Like, is there any reason that he wouldn't be?
I'm just saying.
No, yeah, I get it.
Game time and all that kind of caper. La Liga is back in action this weekend. You don't really give a fuck about the game that's on, no. It's Athletic Club against Granada. So it is what it is. Some interesting odds here, though. Madrid are the outright favourite, 8 to 13. You'll be shocked who's second.
Well, it won't be a team from Catalan, will it? Or Catalonia, even.
Yeah, it will be. And they're 2 to 1.
Shock.
Here's an interesting one. 33 to 1 for Real Madrid to go unbeaten. It's 100 for United to do that.
This stranger things have happened, and it could happen, but I don't think it will. And I think that's the reason you've got such long odds on it, because this isn't a vintage Real Madrid team by any stretch of the imagination. They've got certain issues. Yes, obviously they're champions, but there's a lot of work to be done there still. And you can always fancy a team like Atletico or maybe Barca at the Nou Camp to get a result against them. So I'd be amazed if they went the season unbeaten.
They're not featuring this weekend. Neither are Barcelona or Atletico Madrid because of their European campaigns as well. So they're not featuring this first game week. Sounds like Messi is staying at Barcelona. Whether or not Koeman's... Does Koeman sit... No, he doesn't, does he? Right. Koeman's definitely getting sacked as fuck.
Literally, the one thing you don't want to do when you go to Barcelona is be on the wrong side of Messi or have a Messi who's not happy. Yeah. And that's what he's walking into. And it only ends one way.
I bet he was texting a wife. I'm sure that little prick. He was really boss.
Listen, I used to manage at Southampton, mate, and Everton. This is nothing to me.
I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to earn his respect by calling him a little cunt.
Yeah.
And he walked in there and Messi went, really? Hello? Yep. Fuck this ginger cunt off.
And I'll have a massive pay rise and the entire La Liga. Not even just the Barcelona fans.
But La Liga
like, no, he needs to stay. And then City were like, oh, we'll have a bit of him. No, you won't.
Right, so aside from that being a bizarre decision, he's looked at Thiago Alcantara, who would love to come back to Barcelona, and he's gone, do you know who I need? Gini Wijnaldum. That's just what Barcelona need.
I mean...
Mate, he's lasting a fortnight tops.
I don't mind Wijnaldum, right? I don't mind him, before you jump down my throat. I don't mind him, I sort of get that. What I don't get is having him over Thiago Alcantara. That is just stupidity.
Because they're probably... Thiago's probably cheaper.
Yeah. And it's like, Liverpool are going, well, if we get rid of Wijnaldum, we can bring in Alcantara, which is improving us, and Koeman at the other end of that deal.
No. What I want is Gini Wijnaldum. And they're like, I think he's winding us up, but I can't work out how.
Yeah, that's like when Keegan was like to Fergie, I want Keith Gillespie. Chuck in Andy Cole. Yeah, no worries.
And he was like, what? We having it?
Right.
Yeah, I'll get the lawyers to sort of paperwork out tomorrow.
It is madness. Koeman's certainly giving himself a challenge, shall we say, the way he's approaching this job. So I don't get that one myself.
Widge. Right, speaking of just fucking nonsense and inexplicable things, some people watch Formula 1.
Tell you what, you're a great advert for that sport, you, Mr. Howson. My missus likes Formula 1, unfortunately, I don't.
Does she like watching the traffic on the M6?
Yeah, exactly.
Because what the fuck, man?
You may as well go, just go and watch the
flyover. Do you know last time someone overtook? 1989. That was the last time there was any overtaking in Formula 1.
They used to say about football. Football is a sport at 90 minutes, the end of it, Germany wins. Formula 1 is a sport where at the end of it, Lewis Hamilton usually wins, doesn't it? Unless he's been disqualified.
What a fucking boring drip he is.
I'm not a massive Hamilton fan.
No, and I think he's got like this fake sort of humbleness about him as well. Like, I think when he won his first title, they played the audio of him crossing the line, right? As you win your world title, you're supposed to be doing this down the mic, right? And I apologise for your ears. You're supposed to be going, oh my God! Shit like that, right? He was like, I'd like to congratulate the entire team. Well done, everybody. We did it.
It's not even that, right?
Oh, fuck off!
It's
like, line them birds up right now, lads!
He was going out with her, wasn't he, out of the Pussycat Dolls. But no, I've seen him in interviews when he's lost, and I used to be a journalist, or still am a journalist, and reporter, and I always thought how difficult he was. One-word answers, very monosyllabic, just being a bit arsey.
Right, so it is the Tuscana Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Tune in if you like watching traffic. So apparently that's 2:10 on Sunday if you're
I mean, this says it all, right? Because Hamilton, he's
There's
2
15
to 1
turns
on.
in it.
He's 2 to 1 on, and the nearest to him is Verstappen at 11 to 2. So that says it all, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Close to call that one.
Anyway, right, proper sport time. Betfred Super League.
Right, okay, yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if we discussed this on the fixture list, actually. We should have done. But they've just scored a deal with Papa John's Pizza or Domino's Pizza. One of the two. I think it's Papa John's.
Is this for the halftime meals?
No, for full-time meals. And they literally get free pizza. The title sponsorship of a flagship nationwide sport, which is broadcast to probably not an insignificant number of people on Sky Sports, are out here doing deals for a free pizza. I'm sorry, we wouldn't do it for free pizza.
But you know what, right? That sums it up. You're spot on, because I remember doing the Challenge Cup final. Was it Challenge Cup? What was the grand final? Sorry, at Old Trafford. Yeah, down the road, reporting on it. Now I've been at Old Trafford reporting loads of times, and I was only local radio. Didn't get anywhere near any sort of access, and it was literally like Wigan had just won it, and the press officer was like, "Yeah, do you want to come in the change rooms and interview the players?" What? So yeah, come in, we'll go in. And they're literally just won, spraying each other with champagne. And I'm like, I can have a word. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, no worries, mate, yeah. And I was like, stood in the change rooms at Old Trafford, interviewing these players who've just won like their league's biggest ball. Yeah. And I was just like, how is this happening? But it was like that mentality of just helpfulness and almost not realising the gravity of it.
We got invited to as formerly full-time Devils. Remember that?
Yeah.
We went to the grand final because it was at Old Trafford, and they invited us. They sat us in a press box, full access to anything.
That's what I mean.
They brought a Wigan player to us to interview. Like, oh, we got you one. Talk.
Do you remember? I remember when it's like when Man City once got to the final and they brought Kelechi and Inacho to do the mix zone. He didn't even speak English. No disrespect to him, because my where's he from? Is he wherever he's from? I don't speak a second language, so I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking him, but it was like, what is the point in this? And it was just ridiculously unhelpful. Whereas like you say with rugby league, it's like, yeah, what do you want? You want? Yeah, hang on a minute. He's just doing a team talk. I'll interrupt him. Come in and do this interview. Yeah, come in and do this interview first. Yeah, no worries. Local radio. I'll help you. Yeah, good stuff. But I'd be lying if I said I was a massive Super League fan.
The polarising season. I don't know why I had the accent on that then. Polarising season for last year's grand final. This obviously Salford got there for the first time in their history. Was mint. Was amazing. We was in the fight for about 4 minutes in the final. And then St Helens just took over and just do what St Helens do and just hit us with an absolute fucking roll on. And I saw Warren Joyce in there as well.
Really?
in the Salford end. St Helens currently sit top of the league. No shocks there for anybody. But after last year's heroics and losing Man of Steel, Jackson Hastings, Salford now find themselves 9th out of 11.
Sad to see. I do worry about Salford. I know it's always feels like the wheels may come off if things like people aren't too careful.
Fan owned though.
Yeah, I suppose.
Which is good.
It's good. I mean, you like to see that. I wish you saw more of that in football, to be honest with you. And living in Salford myself, I hope they have success. But obviously, it's not looking too rosy at the minute.
No, we're 9th out of 11, but we do have the same record as the team that are rock bottom. So, I mean, it's just goal difference that's keeping us up at the minute. Shocking season for Salford. You do hope that you get to a grand final, you're able to build on that, not almost do what Spurs did and be like, well, we tried, see you later.
Yeah, this is it.
Well done, bye.
And it's sad, I know it's been a weird time, and as a Salford fan, and I know you're into rugby, and Salford obviously moved from the Willows to the AJ Bell and everything that came with that, and Kukash and everything, and it was just sort of dramatic, and what's going on here, it was like something out of a film, but...
Honestly, they looked like they were well run. They looked like they were really starting to compete. There was good things happening. They signed a couple of decent players, to be fair to them. But it just doesn't. It never felt sustainable. It never felt like it was going to be a way to break the monopoly or the duopoly that you see into. I mean, it's pretty much a monopoly actually with St Helens, to be honest. Even the likes of Warrington, phenomenally run club, just can't break.
I've covered that. I remember when they won the Challenge Cup a few years ago, and I was in Warrington for the parade and met the players. Was is it Lee Braze? Am I getting that wrong?
No, it's Lee Braze.
And a few others.
I think he's not the assistant manager.
Yeah, and the whole town came out for Warrington for the Challenge Cup parade, and you know, I'm not a rugby fan, but it's good to see. I like to see fans enjoying themselves and everything, and the access again we got was great. And then you look at Salford, and you know, yes, the fan element and stuff like that, but the fighting, the sort of swimming against the tide in a lot of respects, because you're trying to get fans in who you lost a lot of fans, or some fans who weren't happy with the move. You're fighting against a lot of fans who it's a football.
You ever got to Willows?
Yeah, once. It's a football
Was that
town.
an accident?
It was reporting again. It was reporting because they were moving. I went to the last game there. So, again, you know, but it was right bang in the middle of Salford.
Oh, probably.
Whereas where it is now is down the road from the Trafford Centre, which is a bit
Here's
of
the thing, right?
ball
You
to get
need
to as well.
to drive to get there because there's no public transport that gets you there, and there's a bit of like
Even the
nothing
tram
around
now,
it.
the Metro link goes to the Trafford Centre, but if you're actually going to walk from the Trafford Centre,
it's a hike.
it's a mission, mate. It is. You're not doing that. Like, if you're given a choice of doing that or not going, you're
The
probably going
Willows
to go.
couldn't
not
have
go.
been. I mean, the Willows was literally like, let's just flatten this couple of rows of terrace houses and put a fucking stadium right there.
It was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, I remember driving there in my little Ski 103 smart car. I was like, where's the stadium? Oh, it's there. Like, it's behind his house.
We used to train at Bewlil School, which was literally at the top of the road from the stadium. And on a Friday, we used to train on the pitch at the Willows as well.
That's how it should be, man. That feels right. And I'm not knocking Salford for trying to
I had to run
progress.
home once because my dad couldn't pick me up. I had to run all the way home from Salford after doing a full session.
Good training, that. Yeah, he's done well.
It was about 6 stone ago. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I would love to see Salford competing. It's just never going to happen. Like I said, Salford, Manchester, which is 2 separate places for most of you that don't know.
Yes.
Is
Well
thing.
said.
Salford can identify as Mancunian.
Yeah,
You
well-
can't call them a Mancunian because they really get shit on about it.
Yeah, they
Because
do.
there is a difference between Salford and Manchester. Unless you're
is.
the uni, and then you try and fucking call your University of Salford Manchester, which is...
It's all very complicated. I'm like an honorary Salfordian because I'm from Manchester but moved to Salford. Whatever that means. Well, my kids live in Salford but were born in Manchester, so you can work that one out. If you can be bothered. I can't.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, fucking United are in Salford. No, we're not.
I say it to him sometimes as well, and he's like, he's right, we're not. We're near, but that doesn't count.
No.
Like 100 metres away, aren't we? But it's still 100 metres, as you often remind me.
We're not. The edge of the water of Media City
Yeah.
is the barrier.
Do you know what I mean?
Salford.
Unless United
But
move over the water.
what was Media
or near the
City's
water.
dock called? Locally, it would be known as Salford Docks, but what's its
All right,
title?
go on.
Manchester Dock.
Ah.
Dumb as fuck.
Same.
There's still remnants of. Do you know where the dock offices?
Yes,
There's
I
still
do.
like a big gate, and it says Manchester Dock on it, and you're like, you're in Salford.
I love it when people call Odd Soul. Oh, and Jermaine Jennis was commentating when Salford were playing, and he called it Salford.
Oh yeah, Salford. Oh,
Mate.
there's a lot of people who say Sal.
Yeah.
McCullough being
Sal?
one of them.
Mate, have a word. Oh, how's he getting away with that on a video with you? Correct him, man. Jesus wept.
Might as well be SOL, FORD.
Come on, man. Get with it.
Anyway, so all the people that are like, fucking Alex Weather Channel on the news, and now it's fucking Geography Channel on here.
Mate, do you know what I mean? You know
Sometimes
what I
you
mean?
need that.
You never watch
Sometimes
Howson's
need to
Brew. You
fucking
should know
don't
what
you?
you're looking at. We're not talking
Sometimes
about
you need to fucking
games
know.
30 years
Anyway,
ago.
there are some there's some decent fixtures. Catalan against Wigan is going to be a decent one this week. Outside of that, I mean, do you want to watch St Helens absolutely fucking annihilate Hull? Well, you can do that this week. Otherwise, not really anything worth writing home about in terms of the Super League. Hopefully next week there's going to be some different ones that we can look at. But, you know, it is what it is. That's really all we need to talk about today, isn't it?
There's a lot happening. A lot going on, considering we've had a
Fixtures
little
are back,
break.
innit?
Yeah.
Although that might change come Monday when old Boris goes, anyway, lads, do all that eat out, help out, fucking get in there, get to work, get on the bus, all that caper. Forget that noise. Now it's potentially back to June.
Everything we've just said to you for the last month, now do the opposite of. Seems to be the advice.
So this might be the last fixture list for a bit again.
We'll see. Hopefully not.
Right, cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and go check out as well, if we're talking about documentaries, go check out the latest one on Stretford Paddock FC. We just uploaded it today. It's a cracker. It shows all the games that we lost in pre-season. And as Jay said, it's a bit shouted in there because we weren't happy, was we? But go check it out. Cheers for tuning in and we'll see you in the next one. Laters.